Timing competency. Shall be able to explain how relative and absolute dating were used to determine the subdivisions of geologic time. Describe how the Earth's history can be interpreted from the geologic time scale. What is the basis of scientists in coming up with the estimated time of particular Earth's event and existence of organism in the past? Are the organisms in the past same as the present organism? Let us do the activity. My lifetime scale. Skills. Pen. Ruler. Magazine. Paste. Scissor. Bond paper. Pictures. Pictures. Number 1. Recall the past event of your life. You start from the youngest memory you have remembered until the present times. Number 2. Take note of the memorable event, memorable object, person, or things at a particular time of your life. 3. Make a table with horizontal and vertical partition. Example below, you may revise the suggested table based on your preference. 4. In the age column, place the particular period from past to recent starting from the bottom of the table going upward. Write the memorable event in very age or period of your life. 5. Paste a photo of the memorable person at particular period in your life and cutouts for memorable things. Age memorable, event memorable, person memorable things. Guide questions. 1. How would you relate your lifetime scale to Earth's history? 2. How would you relate and compare your lifetime scale to geologic time scale? Conclusion. The activity simulate the geologic time scale, where the age column corresponds to time division. The memorable things and persons of your past corresponds to fossils and the memorable event corresponds to geological event of the Earth. The horizontal partition of the table corresponds to rock strata in different time period. Scientists use system to relate rock stratigraphy and time to Earth's geologic event to come up with geologic time scale. The geologic time scale is a system of chronological dating that relates geological strata, stratigraphy, to time. It is used to describe the timing and relationships of events that have occurred during Earth's history. In coming up with geologic time scale, geologists determine the relative ages of rocks using rock stratigraphy, index fossils, and methods of the ages of the fossils and the rocks where they are found indicate similarity of age of the two. The index fossils serve as guide or indicator of certain geologic periods. Example, if two rocks anywhere from the planet contain the same index fossils, then it means that these rocks belong to the same period. In the figure 1 below, the trilobite is the marker fossil found below the rock strata. Since the chaudate also shows that it is located in the same rock strata, it means that chaudate and trilobite belongs to the same time period. Same also with the ammonite as marker fossil. The rock strata and fossils found above the ammonite's rock strata are younger than ammonite, while rock strata and fossils found in ammonite are older. From the use of index or marker fossils, other means of dating is the relative and absolute dating. Difference between absolute and relative dating. Let us start discussing the relative dating first. Relative dating is a method used to determine the age of rocks by comparing them the rocks in the other layer. The fossils of invertebrates found at the bottom part of the rock layer suggest that invertebrates are probably one of the first and oldest organisms that lived on Earth, since it is found on the deepest strata if the rock layers were originally horizontal. Superposition is applied in relative dating, which state that the oldest rock layers are furthest toward the bottom, and the youngest rock layers are closest to the top. However, this will not give the precise ages of rocks and fossils. Absolute dating is the process of determining an age on a specified chronology in archaeology and geology, also called numerical dating, to give rocks an actual date, or date range, in number of years. This is different to relative dating, which only puts geological events in time order. A method used to determine the absolute age of rocks is through radiometric dating method. Metric dating method is used to determine the Age of rocks using the decay of radioactive isotopes present in rocks. There are different types of this method, and these are: carbon dating is a technique used by scientists to learn the ages of biological specimens, for example, wooden archaeological artifacts or ancient human remains, from the distant past. Potassium-argon dating is a method of determining the time of origin of rocks by measuring the ratio of radioactive argon to radioactive potassium in the rock. This dating method is based upon the decay of radioactive potassium-40 to radioactive argon-40 in minerals and rocks. Thermoluminescence dating. These method measure age by means of measuring the accumulated radiation dose of the time elapsed since material containing crystalline minerals was either heated, lava, ceramics, or exposed to sunlight, sediments. Optically stimulated luminescence, OSL, dating measures the amount of luminescence released to calculate the age. This method constrains the time at which sediment was last exposed to light. Sediment transport, exposure to sunlight zeroes the luminescence signal. Upon burial, the sediment accumulates a luminescence signal as natural ambient radiation gradually ionizes the mineral grains. The amount of luminescence released is used to calculate the equivalent dose, D, that the sediment has acquired since deposition, which can be used in combination with the dose rate, dr, to calculate the age. Dendrochronology or tree ring dating is the scientific method of dating based on the analysis of patterns of tree rings, also known as growth rings. Dendrochronology can date the time at which tree rings were formed, in many types of wood, to the exact calendar year. Amino acid technique relates changes in amino acid molecules to the time elapsed since they were formed. Amino acid can have two different configurations, D or L, which are mirror images of each other. Living organisms keep all their amino acids in the L configuration. When an organism dies, control over the configuration of the amino acid ceases, and the ratio of D to L moves from a value near 0 towards an equilibrium value near 1. Thus, measuring the ratio of D to L in a sample enables one to estimate how long ago the specimen died. Earth's history, as indicated in geologic timescale, is divided into different time span, million years, epoch, period, era, and eon, which indicates certain paleontological and geological event. Geologists represent geologic time in vertical manner based on vertical succession of rock strata in Earth. According to superposition principle, layers can be laid down on the top of pre-existing older strata, and therefore older rocks lie below the younger rock strata. The deeper the rocks layer, the older they are. Principle is applied in relative dating. Time scale mimics stratigraphy arrangement by placing older time period below younger time periods. However, this vertical arrangement reveals relative ages only and not how old the actual layers are. Scientists use a variety of absolute dating method to come up with the precise time when particular rocks formed. Once numerical ages have been obtained, they are integrated with vertical time to create geologic time scale. The combined absolute and relative time scale is constantly revised to produce a precise representation of Earth's history. How would you interpret the history of the Earth using the geologic time scale? Make a story of the Earth history based on the geologic time scale. Elaborate. Reflection for today's lesson. How significant is knowing the history of the Earth to you as a student? 8. True or false? Instruction. Write C if the statement is true and X if the statement is false. Write your answer before the number. Number 1. In coming up with geologic time scale, geologists determine the relative ages of rocks using rock stratigraphy only. Number 2. Aside from the use of index or marker fossils, other means of dating is the relative and absolute dating. Number 3. An absolute and relative time scale is constantly revised to produce a precise representation of Earth's history. Number 4. Time scale mimics the stratigraphy arrangement by placing younger time period below older time periods. Number 5. Geologists represent geologic time in vertical manner based on vertical succession of rock strata in